Hey everybody, welcome back to the Chaotic Little Book Corner. My name's Acacia. Today I'm going to be doing my December Part 2 wrap-up. These are the books that I read at the end of the year to finish up my 2018 year reading. This is just like, I don't know, 5-6 books. Not that many at all. I am very excited about most of them. I feel okay about some of them, and other ones I'm actually like legitimately happy for. So let's dive in with these books and let's see what we got. So again, these are in order of least to most enjoyed, and I'm just gonna dive into the books. Lars Kepler, The Nightmare. This is a psychological thriller detective book, second book in the series of the Jonah Lena novels. I read The Sandman, which is the fourth in the series, first, and I really loved it, and it made me go back and read the other three, which were not published in the US until around September, October, and then all three of them came out. They hadn't been published yet, and they just kind of came out one right after the other. I'm gonna pick up the third one. I like the series just fine. I enjoy it, and I definitely find myself giving 3-4 stars to the other two that I've read, so the first and the second, but The Sandman was a 5-star read, and I just keep waiting for that magic to reoccur. This one is the story of a woman who finds 2 dead bodies. One they believe is a suicide, and one is a drowning that they can't identify the drowning. It was good. It was solid. It did what it needed to do. I just wouldn't say that it's my favorite psychological thriller that I've read this year. It did fine, though. It did fine. I'm not going to complain. Next, we have Chris Hammer, Scrublands. This one, I went into this was sent to me for review by Atari Books, and I'm going to do a full in-depth review on this one. I will tell you that most of it will be based upon emotional response to the book rather than plot of the book, because this book opens with a minister going into his parish and coming out with a gun and shooting several of his people that are in his parish. And it's the aftermath years later of that tragedy within this community. And there's a lot of discussion about religion and death and murder and why someone would kill and what we believe is the proper thing to do in scenarios of sin. It really kind of challenges you to believe that there is a potential for this minister to be almost saint-like or devil-like, and you're really not sure. It was really interesting. I definitely will talk about it more in depth. But I would say for the most part, this was really worth the read, and it left me feeling quite intrigued as to the beginning of the book. It just got me. And the whole book just got me. So it worked out just fine. Then a reread. I did 2 rereads this month. This is Christmas Days, 12 Stories, 12 Feasts for 12 Days. Jeanette Winterson. Luckily, none of the cover is coming off. It's a little dirty because it traveled with me back and forth. But it's great. It's really solid. I got this last year from Marissa from BookTube. I will link her channel in the cards. I really enjoy it. I think it's really nice. It's really Christmassy. Got a lot of spirit to it. It's really fine. I think you're supposed to read it from Christmas Day for 12 days on. I read it 12 days before Christmas to Christmas Day. And that was just fine. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I really liked it. There are some recipes in it that I'm curious about. But overall, it's just a solid Christmas read. I can't complain. I can't complain. It does what it's supposed to do. And then another Christmas reread is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. This one, I mean, we all know the story of Christmas Carol. I love it. I really adore it. I think it's my favorite Dickens. I just really love it. I don't think it's my favorite Dickens because it's short. It could have been longer and I would have been quite happy about it. But it's just such a universal story and I love it. I really love it. And I feel very strongly that this is one of my, favorite things to read during Christmas time. And I'll always reread this during Christmas time. I think it'll just be a basic that I reread that during Christmas time. Then the last two books, the first one is, I'm sorry I bumped you, My Sister the Serial Killer by Oyinke Braithwaite. And I this book was a really interesting conversation about the bond of sisterhood and what honestly looks like complete and total support in scenarios that maybe sometimes support isn't always perfect. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was a really great read. I thought it had a lot of depth to it. The premise of the two women who are in it, so Cored and her sister, were just so real and so honest, and there was so much flaw to both sisters that it was totally worth reading. And I definitely would recommend this book to most people. It got a lot of hype when it first arrived, and then I've seen nothing about it on the BookTube community. So I would definitely say this is one worth picking up. I think it was in the My Lit Box Women's Writers box. I've no longer subscribed to the My Lit Box. I've switched to Book of the Month. And I'll talk more about that in a second, or in my next video. Not a second, in my next video. So yeah, really nice. I liked it a lot. It's got some gruesome parts, and it's definitely not for the light-hearted, but it was good. And then we have this. This is The Break by Katharina Vermette, and I'd seen this cover for a while, and I knew I was interested in it, and then I saw Mercedes review it, and that just kind of pushed me over the edge to go for it. This is the story of a Indigenous group of people in Canada, and a woman sees an attack happen, and the police come, and they're like, well, this happens to your people all the time, so we're not going to do anything about it. And it follows her, and it follows the woman who was attacked and her family. There is a family tree at the beginning of the book, which was actually really helpful. I really enjoyed this. It was a 5-star read. I would definitely recommend it. It's tough to get through, though. It's tough. It is not an easy, quick read. I read it in about 2 days. It didn't take long to read, but it was emotionally draining, and it got me really verklempt. So, yes, definitely worth reading. I enjoyed it immensely, and I would recommend it for sure. So those are the books that I read at the end of December. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you loved it, click that subscribe button down below. I would like to send out love to my Patreons. Thank you so much for supporting me. I love you all. And if you have any questions, comments, or quandaries, leave them in the comments. I will talk to you in my next video, and I'll see you then. Bye.